There's a certain kind of heartbreak that never really leaves you, even long after the person is gone, even long after you've convinced yourself you've moved on. It's the kind of heartbreak that doesn't come from rejection or betrayal or loud endings. It comes from someone who pulled away quietly, someone who didn't slam the door. They just disappeared slowly, softly, in a way that leaves you replaying the good parts over and over, trying to find the exact moment where everything changed. And sometimes the hardest part is that, deep down, you know they cared. You know they felt something. You know there was real connection between you, which makes the question echo louder in your mind. Why would someone who felt something real run from it? So let's talk about avoidant love, the kind of love that looks like closeness one moment and distance the next, the kind of love that pulls you in only to step back the second it starts to feel too real. If you've ever been loved by someone avoidant, you know the pattern. In the beginning, they make you feel seen in a way you didn't know was possible. There's something deep and magnetic in the connection. Conversations go beyond the surface. You start to feel safe around them. It feels easy, natural, unforced. You see a future. You start to trust the feeling, but somewhere along the way, something shifts, and they don't tell you why. They don't argue. They don't explain. They just begin to withdraw. They start replying slower. They seem distracted. Their warmth turns into quiet distance. You feel them leaving long before they actually go. And there you are, holding something you didn't know you were carrying alone. People think avoidant behavior comes from not caring, but that's not the truth. Avoidants run from love not because they don't feel it. They run because they feel it so deeply that it overwhelms them. Real intimacy touches their old wounds, the ones they learned to survive by avoiding. The ones that taught them that closeness is dangerous, that needing someone makes you vulnerable, that love always ends in hurt. When an avoidant loves you, they often love you quietly and from a distance, because getting too close threatens the emotional walls they built to protect themselves a long time ago. Most avoidants didn't wake up one day and decide to fear intimacy. It's a defense mechanism formed in childhood. Maybe they grew up in a home where emotional closeness wasn't safe or allowed. Maybe their needs were ignored, criticized, or met with unpredictability. So they learned the safest way to survive was to rely only on themselves. And the idea of needing someone else feels like losing control, like stepping into danger, like placing their heart in someone's hands and hoping not to be dropped. So when they meet someone who awakens something real in them, someone who makes them feel seen and understood, their instinct isn't to stay. Their instinct is to retreat, to protect themselves, to pull back, before the love becomes something they can't walk away from. And here's the painful part. They don't just run from you. They run from the version of themselves they become when they're close to you. The version that feels vulnerable, open, emotionally exposed. That's what terrifies them. Not you, not love, vulnerability. But while they're running, you're left holding the memories, the conversations, the small details that meant everything. Because for you, love didn't mean danger. Love meant connection. Love meant home. And losing them doesn't feel like losing a person. It feels like losing a part of your own heart. You miss them, not because you're weak, not because you're stuck, not because you can't move on. You miss them because the connection was real. Your nervous system bonded with theirs. Your heart remembers. Your body remembers. Your mind replays the moments because it's trying to understand something that was never explained to you. And that's what hurts the most. There was no proper goodbye, no closure, just silence, just distance, just absence where presence used to be. The truth is, avoidants often feel just as much as you do. They just don't have the tools to stay. Attachment is something they crave, but fear. They want to be held, but they don't know how to let someone close enough to hold them. They want connection, but their instinct is to protect themselves from it. So when the relationship starts to deepen, when emotions begin to feel real, when the risk of losing you becomes something they can actually feel, they leave before you can leave them. It's not logical, it's protective, it's survival. And the reason you still miss them, even when you know the distance was their doing, is because your attachment style responds differently. You experience love as something to lean into. They experience love as something to run from. But here's the hardest truth. You couldn't have saved them. Not by loving them harder, not by being more patient, and not by giving them more space or less pressure. Because attachment wounds are not healed by the person they run from. They are healed by the person who is willing to stay and do the internal work. And maybe one day they will. Maybe one day they'll realize running kept them alone. Maybe one day they'll look back and remember the way you loved them and understand what they couldn't see at the time. But you can't freeze your life waiting for that day. Missing them doesn't mean you're meant to go back to them. Missing them means you're human. It means you love deeply. It means the experience mattered. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. Healing means understanding the story clearly enough that it no longer controls you. You didn't lose because they left. You didn't fail because they pulled away. You loved someone who wasn't ready to be loved in the way you were willing to love them. And that says something beautiful about your heart. So take a deep breath, place your hand on your chest, and remember, love is not supposed to feel like chasing someone through emotional distance. Love is not supposed to feel like guessing. Love is not supposed to feel like convincing someone that you are safe to love. Real love meets you where you are. Real love stays. Real love doesn't run at the first sign of depth. And if you felt something real, if you gave something real, if you opened your heart fully and honestly, then that love didn't end with them walking away. That love continues in the way you grow from it, in the way you choose yourself now, in the way you allow love to find you again, not by chasing, but by being open. You're not hard to love. You're not too much. You're not something to run from. You were simply ready before they were, and that is not a flaw. It's a strength. If you and I are anything alike and you want to keep walking this path with me, then subscribe.